just filtering a liquid over a filtered paper and collecting the solids that I can see. And when it started to be more like half an hour to maybe even an hour, it started, the light bulb moment happened, and I was left with this really fine, and at the time it was damp powder. I thought, what is this that's not dissolving? So I took it over when it was dry to a machine called the Fourier transformation infrared spectroscopy. And this fine powder came up as polyethylene, and that was the big moment that I realized, oh, all of this stuff is plastic. The research that I did has really helped for me to see that small changes can make a big difference, because I'm like everyone that, with climate change and just seeing the news of all the fire and the floods and then plastic pollution, how can one person clean up a whole beach when we know that tons and tons of plastic is going into the ocean almost on a daily basis? It's like, how is me not buying a facial scrub going to make a big difference? And actually it really does. And I really love working in collaborative teams of different voices, different cultures, different anyone, because the more voices you have to a project, the more successful it's going to be. We fundamentally, I do believe that the general public wants to do the right thing, and we do move maybe as a solo entity that forms a group, and a group then forms an army, and then it forms a population. It was only yesterday that I was walking to see a friend, and this is a piece of advice I normally give, especially to school kids, like, what can we do? And I say, if you see a piece of litter and it's safe to do so, pick it up and put it in the bin. So one, you're cleaning your environment and taking ownership of your environment, which is really important. But then also, you'll be surprised at how many people are watching you do that and thinking, well, if they're going to do it, why shouldn't I do that? And then they'll do the same. And it's just putting one piece of litter in the bin. And I saw one person do it, and you get such a nice feeling that that's not their litter, but they're going to pick it up and put it in the bin anyway. And it spreads from your community into industry, into government, even into research. Because everything that's happening in orbit is happening or has happened to the ocean. And there's so many parallels of plastic. So I'm trying to use everything I've learned, the people I've met, all of this research that we have, and influence how we can try and mitigate space debris and protect that environment, because it's still one of Earth's environments. Future generations, because we've had centuries to damage the ocean, we've only had decades to damage space, and it's a really pivotal point that we can make a change and say, we've learned from the mistakes of the past, and here is us acting upon it, rather than thinking after the damage is done.